Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to the Four Horsemen Old School Magic Players group on a Wednesday night. Tonight, I am here with Tim Kincaid, one of our Four Horsemen Old School Magic players who's playing in Tournament 19 and on his way to the semifinals. Tournament 19 is our 19th spring event that we're running from February 15th through March 16th. And tonight we're going to be covering some matches from this tournament. You can check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com and facebook.com/group/fourhorsemenmtg. Taking a look at our brackets, here's a look at our top 8 players. We have Knut, Andreas Holt, Derek Saylor, Jacob Monk, Brandon Equals, Tim Kincaid, Lucas Santos, Lorenzo Ricetta, and Jonathan King. For the match video tonight, we're going to be covering Brandon Equals versus Tim Kincaid's match. Let me jump over and let Tim in. Hey Tim, are you with me?
Hey Chad, good evening. Yep.
Good evening. Thanks for joining me tonight, Tim. Just did the intro and highlighted the brackets. So we're going to be covering your match versus Brandon Equals. And this is an interesting matchup. We have Jeskai robots versus Juxtapose 2.0. Quarterfinals match. And blue, white, red versus blue, white, and artifacts. Pretty interesting matchup, right, Tim?
Yeah, we're kind of similar. He's got the red splash. We both got some robots. Yeah, similar decks.
Very cool. And this is your 4th or 5th tournament for Four Horsemen. Do you know how many you've played so far?
That's pretty close. 4 or 5, maybe 5.
Yeah. Well, and how are you enjoying the format so far overall?
You know, I'm loving it. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's old school magic with a twist where we get to, it's like a problem solving. You know, you have to play without the alpha, beta, unlimited, and well, dual lands. But you know, and it just creates a neat environment where you know certain cards are good, and all kinds of cards have a chance to shine that you normally can't play.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, we've got a very unique banned and restricted list that's been evolving over time. And for anyone out there who wants to try something new and different, if you're into old school magic and you know the same old's you know not quite cutting it for you, well, we call this format, you know, old school magic without the usual suspects. And because we don't play the alpha, beta, unlimited baseline sets, we just do basic lands and dual lands plus the first 4 Old School Magic expansions, Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark. It makes for a very unique play environment like Tim is talking about. So if you're looking for something new in the Old School Magic scene, check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com. Okay, Tim, let's get into the decks. Let's talk about Brandon Equals' Jeskai Robots deck first. What do you think of Brandon's brew?
It's really cool. John Uckelberry had mentioned to me last month, why don't you just play red? And I thought about it. And so I didn't. I'm still blue-white. But when I looked at Brandon's list, I'm like, wow, this kind of looks like a deck I would have played with the red. But really, when I looked at it, I was kind of scared. I was like, man, this deck looks like it has every answer it would want to beat a deck like mine.
Yeah. It's a really interesting brew, right? Brandon Equals has also played in about 3 or 4 Four Horsemen tournaments, so he's fairly new to the format as well. But he's very, very rapidly, kind of like you, advanced very quickly into the top 8 and even to the semis. You've had this experience as well. You came in new to Four Horsemen a few tournaments back. You won tournament 15, I believe, with a very interesting, like, all enchantments deck and only one creature. Brandon's kind of doing the same thing. He's coming into the format, new player, making it into top 8. What's that experience been like for you as a new player to come in a new format and innovate and make it into the top finals and quarterfinals and semifinals?
I've had a blast. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun playing Four Horsemen. I thought, a lot of people want to play the Arabian creatures, and rightly so. Your Serendibs, your Urnums, your Jisms. It's proxy friendly, so a lot of people are going to run that stuff, I assume. So my experience was, I tried the Ruck Egg, in the Urnum deck, the red green, and then I was like, let me just try a deck that just destroys creature decks. It's like
Right.
a lot of Arabian decks. So it was a black-white control list with a lot of anti-creature cards like the Abyss,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And so it worked out pretty well. And it looks like Brandon here is playing, it's really a control deck, and he has anti-creature cards in the form of Chain Lightning, Remove Soul, Spirit Links, Triskelion, and Tetravus as his finishers, and Trike is also a walking removal spell.
Right.
He's got the card draw. He's got Dancing Scimitars, which are a really cool defensive creature as well.
Yeah.
But he doubles down on the burn can also be just as a finisher, right? Because his Trikes, his Chain Lightnings, his Pyrotechnics, that's a lot of damage. He has over like 20 something damage if you just count up all his burn. And he also has a lot of artifact removal, and that's kind of what was scary for me in this matchup.
Yeah, those are some great highlights and really well put points. You're right. When you combine your Triskelion damage with the 3 Triskelion arms and 3 points per Triskelion, plus you've got the Chain Lightnings, those are 3 each, and then he tops it off with the Pyrotechnics, it's a lot of damage. And he's also got Tano's Coffin hanging out down there in the bottom by those Dancing Scimitars, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so with the Tano's Coffin, he's able to pop his Triskelions back into the coffin and get them back out, and it reloads the counters on that card.
Yeah, Coffin Tetravus, Coffin Triskelion is just so nasty late game. And if there are decks that aren't playing main deck artifact removal, the Coffin is just really strong late game in this format.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. And the splashing of things like the Sage of Latnam, right? The Sage of Latnam is such a cool card.
Yeah, I mean, when his Trikes shoot their counters off and it's a 1/1 creature, or his Tetravus becomes, a 1/1 and he makes tokens, he can sacrifice those to draw cards and draw a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah. I really like the Sage of Latnam. It's a card that's it's a 1/2 creature. It seems like just mediocre, okay, but actually it's a combo engine drawing powerhouse, really, in Four Horsemen. We don't have a ton of draw in this format, and so Sage of Latnam, like, it's just like the art is so cool. Peter Venters, the old man in the chair, the wizard, with the bookshelf and the candle, like, it's so reminiscent, and it's such a classic card. And a 1/2 for 2 back in this day, not too shabby, right? It can block the 1/1s. It only costs 1 blue. So compared to today's cards, it's not super powerful, but for Four Horsemen and for this deck, it's really cool.
Yeah, we've seen them before. Like you said, in Four Horsemen, it is some of the stronger card draw you can play. And I like the fact that you can run 4 Felwar Stones, and you don't have to worry about getting mana flooded, because if it fixes your mana, you get plenty of acceleration, and then late game you can sack the stones and mana rocks to draw cards.
That's right. Yeah. I'll just pop the Felwar Stone up here too. Felwar Stone, such a classic card, right? Like Quentin Hoover, the art. Like, I mean, the artwork is maybe not so amazing considering some of the other pieces, but like the functionality of this card, it can tap when it comes into play. So it is a mana ramp card. It's still used in all the other major old school formats, but in Powerhouse, this is our mana ramp pretty much, other than the Elves of Deep Shadow. And it taps for any mana of any of your opponent's colors. So, really cool card, super old school, and it's in a lot of these Four Horsemen decks.
In Brendan's deck, that also allows a turn 3 Dancing Scimitar, which is a pretty good blocker, right, against Urnum Djinns. And I'm running Suchis, so when I saw that he could play a turn 3 Dancing Scimitar, I'm like, oh no, there's 1/5 can block my 4/4s all day.
Yeah, let's take a look at Dancing Scimitar. Anson Maddox art, the blade flying through the air. This card also super sidewalk old school. I remember playing this card in my deck back in the day. I was like, yeah, this thing can block Urnum Djinn, no problem. It's a powerhouse. It's not, at least on the defense, it's super, super stout, right? And it only costs 4 of any color, so you don't have to worry about getting the right color to play the Scimitar.
Yeah, and then he's got, of course, the restricted mana drain, and he has 1 recall. Is recall restricted?
Recall is restricted. Yeah, we ended up restricting it specifically so you couldn't like be getting back your mana drains and Ivory Towers and all these powerful cards over and over.
Right.
Yeah. So he's also running a Maze of Ith, a Workshop, a Strip Mine, a Mistress Factory, all the restricted Four Horsemen lands, but he's not running Diamond Valley. What do you think about that?
I like Diamond Valley with the scimitars, and I guess it's okay if something tries to kill his Sage, or it's kind of cool with his sideboard Skullivorm. If he's to sack, like, say, the creature that he has the Dance of Many, in late game, he can go Dance of Many into Skullivorm, and if he had a Diamond Valley, he could just sack that. But he does have Sage to sack his creatures if it's an artifact creature. So I don't know. It's pretty good life gain, I think, with the scimitars. But other than that, most of his creatures are probably going to end up little, like his Trikes and Tetrapus tokens, 1/1. So.
Right. Well, super cool brew by Brandon. It's no surprise he's in the top 8. Let's take a look at your deck, Tim. Tell us about how you've brewed this Juxtapose deck, because this is version 2. So you had a prior version, and this is the second iteration.
Okay, so yeah, the first month I played it, tournament 18, I thought of Juxtapose. It's like the control magic, from Legends of the format, and it's just a cool card. It's a chaotic, fun card where you just swap things, and you kind of get it. You have to play a certain way to set up the game state to where it becomes really good. If you play it correctly. I wanted to play it with Brassman. Number 1 is the card that I give to my opponent. And if you give them an artifact creature, you can also have that artifact creature come back to you, and then they get your highest casting artifacts. They can a lot of times just get a Felwar Stone for like an Urnum Djinn is what they would end up with. So
right,
pretty fun. So Brassman's at the center. This month I did make some changes. I wanted to go with the Archaeologist to have some late game artifact recursion. I also tried a rocket launcher. Same reason. It's also good against little weenies and things. 1 toughness. We saw a green deck last month do really well. Did that mono green win the tournament last month?
Yeah,
I think it did.
Yeah, it sure did, man. That was John DeProse's mono green aggro weenie deck that just took first place. And did we do the video for that? I don't know if we've done the video for that one yet. But yeah.
So anyways, I thought I'd play the rocket launcher because if green and a lot of 1 toughness creatures with Pendlehaven get popular, the rocket launcher is in some ways better than a Trike because it can't be remove sold. So about the only way you can stop it from hitting the table is to play, Crumble, Divine Offering, or Artifact Blast, or a Mana Drain. You can't remove soul it like you can a Trike.
Right.
And it will take out multiple little guys.
Yeah.
I also doubled down and, like I said, I ran Suchi and Diamond Valley this month. I just wanted to have a little more aggression and a way when I steal their creatures with Juxtapose, I didn't want them to be able to boomerang it back. So I have the Diamond Valley there to sack the creature. It also couples well with the Preacher in my sideboard, where if I take something, I can sack it.
Yeah, Suchi is a really powerful and prevalent card in other old school formats. In Four Horsemen, Suchi is incredibly risky if you don't have a mana sink. Like, there's actually significant drawbacks to Suchi in this format, where in other formats, if it's Swedish, there's no mana burn, and in Atlantic, everybody's running 4 factories and things like that. So there's not much risk at all to running Suchi in other formats. In this format, there's not a ton of mana sinks. We've restricted Mistress Factory, and there's Jaloom Tome and Tano's Coffin and things like that. But you can very easily be caught with nothing to sink that mana into when that Suchi dies. And so in Four Horsemen, Suchi has a lot more significant downside.
That's right, Chad. And I thought, well, how am I going to prevent myself from taking too much mana burn? Obviously, I have to board them out sometimes after game 1 if I think they're going to bring too much artifact hate. But Crumble, is one of the cards that can kill an artifact. And in this case, you gain the 4 life, even though you would take 4. So you don't take damage against a Crumble if they're playing green.
Right.
Also, I have cards like Jalen Tome, Rocket Launcher, Tano's Coffin, Mistress Factory. That's at least 4 or 5 cards. And then the Diamond Valley, which says gain 4 life, but then if you have 4 mana, you burn. So you don't take any damage with the Diamond Valley if they kill a Suchi.
Yeah. And Diamond Valley is such a powerful card. It's so powerful we had to restrict it, but yeah, that's a great combo with Suchi to be able to counteract the potential downsides. You can gain some life for it. And then, of course, you mentioned earlier, you've got the Preacher combo, right? And
right.
Preacher allows you to steal your opponent's creatures, and you can Diamond Valley them and gain that life from them as well. So you got a lot of cool synergies in this deck, but you don't have red. What you mentioned John was saying, hey, you should add red. What made you decide to just do blue, white, and no red?
I got wrecked by Blood Moon a couple tournaments. It's happened probably multiple tournaments. And I played a blue, green, white aggro Jihad deck, and Blood Moon beat me pretty bad. I didn't have many basics. And it's just like, I know if I go into the red, it takes out more of the basic land, the basic islands, the basic plains, and just complicates it. It's just another. I don't know if it's necessary. It's good, but it also does take away from some of the consistency, I think, in the deck when you add a third color.
Yeah, Blood Moon it's a card from the dark. It's a fantastic card. It's got some significant downsides, but it doesn't completely shut down your deck if you're running artifacts. You're running, all these Triskelions, Tetravis, and Tano's Coffins, and Suchis. So Blood Moon would not. It would hurt you a bit, but it wouldn't cripple you to the point where it would cost you the game in most games. So I like that strategy, Tim, and it shows that you've navigated the Four Horsemen meta, and you're coming up against all these other different decks, and you're building a brew here with this Juxtapose 2.0 that's super strong and that has a lot of answers for a lot of the other competitive decks in the meta.
Appreciate it, Chad. I wasn't too optimistic about my chances versus Brandon Eccles. He has a really good deck, but if you're ready to dive into it, we can see how that unfolds.
All right, let's do it. I've got the match queued up here. I'll switch over, and we'll be moving on to the match. All right, I'm queued up here at 0 at 1.5. Is that what you got?
Yeah, 1.5.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is game 1, right? You guys had an extended game, and we're going to have a game 2 episode probably, depending on how long this takes. We could dovetail the other game right after this one, if it's not too late, or we could break it out into a separate episode.
Yeah, sure, either one. Yeah, Brandon was a really cool guy. You see, he leads out with a Tundra, and I answer with a Brass Man. I chose to let him go first. I just wanted to get the extra card because I feel like this is going to be kind of like a control-ish matchup, and neither one of us. He's definitely not playing a super aggro kind of list. You know, he has 1/5 creatures, 1/2 creatures, trikes, and a couple Tetravus. So he's definitely on the control, and I chose to draw first for that reason, to try to get the card advantage.
Yeah. So he quickly gets down. He's dropped a mana every turn, and he's dropped 2 Fellwar Stones. You've got that early Brass Man. It's a great answer to his factory.
I've got the Fellwar Stone as well, and the Fellwar Stones are pretty good in this matchup because he gives me blue and white, and I give him blue and white. But in this case, I only have islands, but pretty good when they act as the on-color colors that you need for your deck.
So you elect to untap your Brass Man here.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I have a Juxtapose, and my plan is to use. I feel like the only creature of quality I can get game 1 is a Sage of Latnam from him from a Juxtapose. I don't want to try to get a trike because he'll just give me a 1/1 trike and shoot the counters off. I don't want to try to get, I feel like the only thing I'm really going to get with a Juxtapose is a Sage. So I'm holding a Juxtapose in my hand, trying to see if he's going to play a Sage or not in the first few turns.
And you end up Divine Offering his factory there and play a second Brass Man. That's pretty good to get rid of that factory.
Yeah, I had the 1 Divine Offering. That's pretty lucky.
Yeah. I
only ran 1 main deck. He has 3. So using it on the factory, I'm not sure if that's even correct, but he has like 1 Tanos' Coffin that I was concerned about late game, but the factory's still good. It's a 3/3 blocker, so.
Yeah, it's great. And the viewers don't see this, but in the audience, we've got Chris Holzenbach, Jack Clegg, Daniel Culinari, another Daniel, Lucas, and 1 other player. There's quite an audience watching this game live.
Yeah, we've got like 8 people in here because I think it's just a weeknight. It's not super late, and guys that just really having fun and having a good time with the Four Horsemen format. Just curious to see how these decks play out.
Right. I mean, it's actually pretty cool that we have a group of folks that are having enough fun with the format, and they're jumping in to watch the matches, the playoff matches live. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, these are like your robots list. We're like a semi-mirror match. I didn't see many other players with like a robots kind of deck, except for me and Brandon this month. So
Sage of Latnam gets remove sold there. You had your Sage. He counters
like I said, he realizes it's an important card. So there's his. Now I've got the Juxtapose, so I will not untap my Brass Mans. I'm ready to swap.
Oh, wow. It's such a good strategy. That Juxtapose. Boom, there it is. 4 mana, boom, Juxtapose. Oh, you got something good. I'm going to take it.
It's the card advantage. It's the card that gives the advantage to the player in this matchup. So
you're going to give him a Fellwar Stone? Or what?
He's going to get the Brass Man first.
You're going to get the Brass Man
then
first.
Then we'll swap our highest artifacts, which will be a Fellwar Stone for a Fellwar Stone.
Okay, so he gets a Brass Man. He gets your tapped Brass Man, and you get his Sage of Latnam.
Yeah, and then we swap Fellwars, which we'll just keep each other.
Right, okay. Interesting. What a crazy move, the Juxtapose.
Yeah, it was fun, and I had been waiting for that for a couple turns to see. But, another thing I realized when I killed that factory is he would have had 6 mana, possibly, if he untapped and played a land. So I actually kept him off Triskelion mana by just killing that land with the Divine Offering.
That's a great point. Yeah. You've kept him off of that 6 mana count. It also keeps him off of Tetravus as well.
Right, and those are the cards. Like, I don't want the trike to hit because I'm trying to hold this Juxtapose to get the Sage, and it's like if he gets the 6, the Sage is gonna die to a Triskelion. So I'm hoping it will live for a couple of turns.
Right. Yeah, it's so smart. So you're very strategic in the way you're navigating this match.
It's not a really aggressive battle. You know, I don't have to worry about just creatures being played and attacking me every turn. You know, he's not an aggressive deck. So I'm simply thinking about any way I can try to get an advantage. His deck outclasses mine. He's got all the answers. He's got three main deck artifact removal, three main deck remove souls.
Right.
I only have 2 remove souls. I only have 1 artifact removal. I feel like I'm on the that he's just got what he needs to beat me. So I have to try to get advantage any way I can.
Wow. Yeah, that's really insightful. And that's a great example of how when you know a deck has you crushed, your only shot is to strategically play to your advantage in some way that gives you an edge here, a slight edge there, a little edge here. You're adding up small little edges to try to amount to a greater advantage, and it's very challenging, but you can do it if you're very strategic about it.
Yeah, so at this point, I've gotten him down to 16. I'm at 20.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a little damage with my Brassmen, and I've got this Sage ready to go. You know, if I want to start cycling Brassmen, or I don't think I'm going to sack that Felwar Stone yet. Oh, okay, because I'm still stuck on 4 mana for like 3 turns. I haven't got any more. Here comes the rocket launcher.
Oh, rocket launcher! There it is. Yeah. That could change things, right?
He doesn't have anything I want to shoot yet, but I just kind of want to have it on the board, and I don't know, just to see if like I can bait him into playing a Divine Offering to kill it or something.
Oh, so this is Divine Offering bait.
Yeah, it doesn't really do a whole lot yet, but if it sits there and I get more mana, it can become very powerful. So if he tries to destroy it, I can eat it with the Sage that I juxtaposed from him.
The good old bait spell. Yeah, you're trying to lure out that Divine Offering. I wonder if he's keen to what you're doing here.
I don't know. I really think Brandon is just hoping to get that 6th mana right now because he's got 5 cards.
He's been stuck on 5 mana for so long.
I've killed that factory and he hasn't gotten the 6th mana yet in like 2 or 3 turns, right? And I'm stuck on 4.
Well, now you get your factory and you get to 5.
There it is. And that was big because that's another attacker,
right? Combined
with the Brassman and the Sage, and there comes my 3rd Brassman, so I can definitely start to get in there.
Right, man, you're really catching up here.
Oh wow, there's a Suchi.
Suchi and Brassman and Factory all in one turn. That's a big turn for you.
I am down to 1 card though. Brandon just drew his 6th card.
Huh. Yeah,
so that's the difference.
With the dice count there, right? Gosh, he just needs to get to that 6th mana. He's drawn so many turns with not getting a mana. It's crazy.
And he immediately Spirit Links my Suchi. Now notice, he passes, so I'm assuming he must be holding a bunch of 6 drops.
Right, of course.
Or Divine Offerings, or Spirit Links.
Or all of those. He could have all. He's got 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, but he Spirit Link Suchi. I choose not to immediately sack the Suchi to the Sage.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I can't attack him with the Suchi, I'm thinking, well, you know, that Suchi can still like be used for mana when I need it. It's 4 mana. If I want to sack it to the Sage, gain 4 mana at some point.
Right.
I can also block like his own Triskelion with the Suchi, even though it's Spirit Linked and it can trade with the Trike. So it's still a pretty powerful card.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder what Brandon's thinking here. He's probably just like grinding his teeth and like, God damn it, can I just get my 6th mana and I'll get back into this game, you know? But he also has...
I know he's thinking that. Let me just get the mana. So I'm just trying to put as much pressure as possible. I swing with the Brassman. Of course, he blocks the Factory here. I think I hit him for 2. And I just like to turn a bunch of guys sideways to kind of psych out my opponent. The Suchi doesn't do any damage, but it still looks formidable.
Yeah, you're attacking with the Suchi even though it's Spirit Linked.
I got this army, you know.
That's funny. Well, so what does he do here? He just takes the damage, or is he blocking?
Took a couple more. He's down to 14 from the Brassmen.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know if he hit the land yet or not, but I'm surprised he's gone like 4 turns now without getting to 6.
And you're still looking at your 2 cards over here. What's going on in your mind? You're looking at your cards, you're putting them down. You're looking at your cards, you're putting them down. You're shuffling them around. You're putting them down again.
It might just be nervous habit when you're in a good Magic battle, but I don't really remember what I had at this point. I'm probably thinking, I hope I get to 6, and I hope he doesn't get to 6.
You're at 5. He's at 5. Well,
yeah.
But if he gets a Triskelion, it costs 6. So he's gonna fire. He would if you played Juxtapose and you trade your highest artifacts. You would trade your rocket launcher or your Suchi for his Triskelion. He would just fire off his Triskelion arms, right?
Yeah, and he would kill the Sage, and then I would get a 1/1, and he would get, a Suchi, and then it wouldn't work out. The end of that would not be good for me. Like I said, the Juxtapose, the best thing I can get here is a Sage of Latinum from him early game.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's playing all artifact creatures.
Yeah, and you got it. That Sage over there is from Brandon.
Yeah, so that was a big deal for me for game 1. Okay, looks like I hit him for 2 more with the Brassmen. Not a lot going on. I'm just swinging in, and he's probably going to get the mana pretty quick here.
Well, you're chipping in a couple points here and there, and yeah. Oh, there's a Divine Offering. So who's he taking down? What's he targeting here?
Okay, that's the bait for the rocket launcher, I think. So let's see what he hits. Or maybe he's targeting my factory. I don't know if this was...
Yeah, so he targets the rocket launcher, and then you munch it with the Sage and draw a card. I like how you keep track of your hand with that blue dice in the middle there. That's really helpful for your opponent.
That's just, that's my hand size to let them know. I always tell them that's the blue dice lets them know how many cards I have. So he does take the bait, but really he probably just is thinking, I just want to play something because he's probably holding 2 or 3 trikes.
Yeah. And that also probably indicates he has at least one other Divine Offering in hand, right? Because he's burning one. And he knows you got stuff he might want to get rid of, so he probably has another.
He's also, right, exactly, Chad. He probably does. He may, but he's also thinking, I'm at 12, and that rocket launcher can shoot him for like 3 damage during his turn. And then if you remember, it doesn't go away. If you use it at end of turn, you'll have it on your next turn, and you can shoot for 3 more damage, and then I can sack it to the Sage and draw a card after doing like 6 damage with the rocket.
Oh, that's right, because you can use it twice if you do it at the right timing.
Yeah, so he's a little worried here about maybe me
Did he gain the 4 life from it? No, he didn't, because you sacked it in response.
Right, because remember I could also sack my Suchi to the Sage, gain 4 more mana, and then funnel that into the rocket launcher for a couple more points of damage. So he's kind of getting dangerously low.
You're right. Yeah, I wonder if he must have seen that, right? That's why he did it.
Probably. Oh, so here he gets 6 now, and I hit him to 10, and then he plays the trike. So he's finally at the crucial 6 mana point.
Oh man, it took him so many turns to get to 6 mana. But also he's drawn a lot of cards like Spirit Links and Divine Offerings and Remove Souls and different things to help counteract what you're doing.
Yeah, he's definitely not out of this. He's still at 10 health. He's got a lot of cards. He's got plenty of mana now. He chooses to Divine Offering. No, he chooses to immediately use the trike on the Sage.
Huh.
Like he realizes how important that is, right?
Yeah, he's got to get rid of that Sage. That's your drawing mechanism.
So what do you think? Should I use the Sage here? Should I eat something?
Yeah, I would eat before the Sage goes out, you got to draw. So I would just eat that Suchi. But maybe not. I don't know. Like the way Spirit Link works is it's not Life Link, If you could do an alpha strike with attack with everybody and hit with the Suchi, it can still do that 4 damage before he gains the 4 life because it happens after the combat step, right?
Yeah, exactly, Chad.
Yeah.
I think I'm sitting here debating Suchi or Brassman.
Yes.
And I chose to stack a Brassman because it's got a 2/2 strike and a 1/3 Brassman.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, that Spirit Link has disabled the Suchi for now, but he's so low. If you come in with an alpha strike of everyone, you might be able to, it might make a difference. And the Brassman's not going to make a difference.
So I did, so that's what I opted to do for that alpha strike.
Very cool.
And plus it's a good defender if I need it later.
Right.
Also, as you can see, the Sage ended up netting me 2 cards. I sacked the Rocket Launcher that he tried Divine Offering, and I sacked the Brass Man. So I got a pretty good advantage from that Juxtapose save.
Right. You took his creature. He couldn't draw off of it. You drew off of it. It's also cool to see both of you guys have the Four Horsemen Arabian Nights Islands cards here, which are...
Oh, yeah. Thanks for those. Those are sweet. I don't know who drew those, but they're sweet.
I think it's Christopher Rush, right?
Oh, did he draw those?
I think so, if I remember correctly. Let me go look at my deck.
I was thinking it was Mark Poole, but maybe
Mark
I'm
Poole?
wrong.
Oh, maybe it is Mark Poole. I'm gonna have to look in my deck, in my Four Horsemen deck.
Yeah, I thought Mark Poole, but I thought that's really cool because I've never seen that artwork anywhere but this old school Magic format. That's really cool.
It was a thing in one of the Inquest magazines around April Fools, and it was a real piece of art that they did for that special article. I don't know if they actually made the cards or not, but we did.
Right, and so I played my whole deck is full of those those special islands, the Four Horsemen islands. I guess when you make top 8, you guys send out the proxy prizes.
That's
for
right.
free, and so you guys have really been kind to me in a couple top 8s. I've managed to mize maybe like 8 of those islands now. So thanks for that.
Nice. Yeah, it was one of the first cards that John Eckleberry and I did together. I did the back, and John, worked on getting those printed up, and he mails those out. And yeah, anybody who makes top 8s, you can get. We got Tetravite tokens. We've got poison tokens. We've got some really cool, like proxy cards for Fallen Angel. And yeah, you are right. It is Mark Poole. The Islands art is Mark Poole. Okay,
so in case we got carried away on those fancy islands, and they are cool, but I did play a Diamond Valley.
Oh yeah.
And then I played another Sage out of my own. So then he responds with another trike, which we knew he probably was holding multiple trikes, right?
Right. Yeah.
He had so many cards.
Exactly.
Immediately kills the Sage, but at least I do gain 2 life from the Diamond Valley. Now he's pretty much stopped my onslaught. He's definitely stabilized this game, it seems.
Wow. Yeah, and the double trike out there, he's had to burn some counters, but he's got 2/2/2s with 2 counters on them and the Brass Man to block your factory. So, but man, that Diamond Valley, John and I have often said, if one player has Diamond Valley and the other player doesn't, the player who has Diamond Valley will win the match.
Interesting. Okay, that's you guys may be very correct on that. I haven't thought that through, but we'll see how this pans out. So,
of all the games we've commentated on over the last 2 or 3 years, it seems to be proven true, and it's one of the reasons why we had to restrict Diamond Valley, particularly with Rook Egg and that sort of thing. It's such a strong card, and it doesn't seem like it on the surface, but over the tenure of a game in Four Horsemen, our games are not very fast. There's not a ton of life gaining, and it's one of the life gain mechanisms. And it combos with things like Juxtapose and Preacher and Old Man of the Sea, and it's very powerful.
That's true, yeah. And so I did decide to add Preacher this month to my sideboard because I was like, ooh, it's good with the Diamond Valley's in the deck now, and it's good with Juxtapose, and why not play Preacher? There's a green deck that won the tournament, and green decks can't really kill Preacher unless they play Desert Twister. So
yeah, that's true. And if John DeProse had faced a Preacher Old Man of the Sea deck, it would have just wrecked him.
Yeah, that's true, and he just managed to dodge that. But he had a really cool deck.
Really cool
so
deck.
I did play a trike. I'm now at 6, and he responds with, guess what, another 6 drop. We knew he was holding multiples.
The Tetravus. Yeah. Now he's got that 4/4 flyer.
Yeah, so at this point, the flyer is pretty good. I'm thinking, he can just attack me for 6 turns.
Right. That's pretty scary. That's a pretty scary play, right? You're like, oh, shit. But
yeah. I don't remember what I had here. I'm holding 4 cards, so curious to see what I'm going to do to that with that Tetrabus.
Yeah. You
I
know,
think I,
he also has that plateau over there for red mana, and we haven't seen any red come down this game.
that's a good point, Chad. He's had that plateau, I think, being since early, and yeah, where's like he hasn't killed a sage with the chain lightning. I'm pretty sure he just hasn't drawn them, and he told me later he wished he was wondering where all his chain lightnings were because they would have been a really good answer to the sage, and leaving his trike as a 4/4 instead.
Right. Yeah. So he's just getting unlucky not drawing chains or pyrotechnics, and he's had to burn his Triskelion arms to get rid of those sages, which give you the significant advantage in the game.
Yeah, it just shows you how powerful they are. That he'd rather put his trike as a 2/2 and let the sage live.
Yeah. Well, that's very, very insightful and super smart playing on Brandon's part.
Yeah, I think he's playing really well this game, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see some interesting plays here now that we both got the mana to play pretty much every spell in our deck. So.
Yeah.
So I am still. I guess I'm deep in the tank here, trying to decide what am I going to do with this Tetrabus.
Yeah, you're back and forth. You're tapping. You're untapping. You're very pensive.
One minute. Okay, there. So I put a Spirit Link out.
Spirit Link.
That's fair.
On his, who did you target?
The Tetrabus.
The Tetrabus, of course.
Yep.
And Sage comes down. Sage number 3 for you.
Number 3. Yeah.
Wow.
But he has 2 counters on his strikes, and that's probably what I was thinking. Is like, how can I get rid of those counters? And I probably could not figure out another plan, or because I know the Sage is probably going to meet his doom there.
Man, this is turning into a real chess match here. I mean, you got him down to 10, and it's just been a complete stall.
Yeah, and at this point, I think his kids got home. He had a kid not feeling well. We might skip ahead. He had to AFK.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to check the timestamp and see how long.
Yeah, I could just forward ahead here until he comes back. Yeah. So let me look. So he comes back at
36 something?
No, 38. Let's see. 30.
Got him at 37. He's moving his dice about 37 minutes.
Okay, so I'll go back to 37. How about 37:02?
Yeah, it's actually about 30 seconds after that.
Okay. I'm at 37:06.
Okay, he'll start tapping. I'm at 37:30 if you want to go there.
Okay.
He taps something. 37:30 he plays a Dance of Mini.
Dance of Mini. Oh, I got 37:49 for that.
Okay.
And I'm at 37:30. I'm at 38.
Perfect.
Okay. So the Dance of Mini comes down. Now that is basically a clone, and he's copying your Triskelion, right?
You know, I think. Let's see what he copies either one of the trikes. Yeah, he makes it a trike. So he plays his 3rd trike. You know, he's stalled on 5. He gets the 6, and then he's played out basically 3 Triskelions since then. Immediately has killed 3 of my sages.
Wow. Yeah, that Dance of Mini I think that's a 1-of in his deck, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Let me go.
Cool card. Very cool card from the dark. I'm a fan. I've played it in past tournaments. You know, you don't have any clone from Unlimited or Revised. But it's similar to a clone. A little cheaper mana cost, but it has an upkeep. So looks like Chad, I hear your music. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. The music's very appropriate for the moment in the game.
Yeah, because he just played a 3rd Triskelion.
Yeah, I see that. It's crazy.
Let's see. He ships it back to me. He kills the sage. Notice he didn't choose to make his Tetrabus into flying tokens.
Yeah, he wants to keep that 4/4 blocker, right?
I guess I'm not sure yeah, I don't know if what he plans to do. Maybe maybe he just wants a 4/4 to block my guys. But I do have a 4/4 trike, so yeah.
You can tell you're really going back and forth, thinking very carefully about what to do. You're putting your cards in your hand. You're putting them down. You got your hands on your head. You know, you're really going through. You're really thinking it through. But that's the way. That's the only way you're going to win this match. If you are right, you know his deck can beat your deck just straight up, card for card. So you're really thinking, what can I do to twist the scenario in my advantage?
Exactly, Chad. And look at that. That's the 4th Sage.
Oh my God.
But he can kill it. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember what my plan. I think I have a boomerang in hand here.
All 4 Sages?
All 4. That's what I've drawn.
Amazing. Well, that's one way to get your advantage right there. That is it. Okay, so now he decides to split his Tetris tokens up on his turn. I'm at 428, by the way.
Yeah, we're good. I'm really right. I'm at 435 right now.
Okay, yeah, me too. Okay, so he splits up his Tetris into the tokens now. Why do you think he chose to do that now and not prior?
I actually think maybe he just forgot.
Did you just flash your hand? What's going on here? Oh, you flashed your hand to the screen. Did you see that?
Did you see my hand?
Yes. You had a workshop, a juxtapose, something else. So he stepped away, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to flash my hand to the screen."
Yeah, I had a workshop juxtapose, and I showed that I had a boomerang. What timestamp are you at?
I'm at 43:29.
Okay, because he comes back at about 44 minutes.
Oh, do I need to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm at 44:10 right now.
Okay, I'll skip ahead with you. So he stepped away. All right, 44:10. Okay, I'm at 44:11.
That's fine.
Okay, so he's spirit linking his own dude. He's spirit linking his own.
He went and found a spirit link to show that I had that card spirit linked.
Oh, okay. He went and grabbed it. Okay, because you spirit linked it with your spell earlier.
Yeah. So let's see what we did. Actually, I put my spirit link on my Suchi, and he put his spirit link on the Tetris, just to show that we both have spirit links on those creatures, but even though they're our opponents.
Got it. Yeah, that helps a lot in these webcam matches. Okay. So his Tetris is spirit linked. Your Suchi is spirit linked.
Yep, he's paying the upkeep for his Dance of Many. Costs 2 blue. He's tapped his island and his Felwar, but he's not playing anything else, and he's got 5 cards, and I'm just like, okay. But, we're totally kind of at a standstill, except he has those 1/1 flyers, which will start to be able to attack me if I don't do something about it.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna have 3 1/1 flyers coming in, but can't you just take him out with your Triskelion arms?
I can, but we're at the end of. He tries to shoot my Sage with his trike counter.
And you're choosing to boomerang your Sage.
Yeah, like
wow.
He took the dice off late, but
that's how important Sage is here.
Notice he only has one. He only has 1 trike counter left because he used 2. He said, "I'll shoot it for 2," and I said, "I'll boomerang." So he's down to 1 counter.
Oh, because he could have shot it for 1 and then shot it for another one. He has to shoot it for 2 to kill it, right?
Yeah, the way he did it though, he's like, "I'll just do 2 damage to the Sage," and I said in response. Anyway, he let it through. It worked. He could have shot it maybe 1 more, but he could have shot.
You're right. He could have shot it 1 more in response. He didn't. He probably didn't think about that.
He didn't think about it. I didn't, and it could have been that he just tried to do 2 at once and didn't let the first damage resolve. I didn't rules lawyer him or anything, but we just really didn't talk about it. I think he just shoot it for 2, and I bounced it.
Wow. Yeah. So he could have shot it in response and gotten rid of it.
Possibly. Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be material.
I could have bounced Suchi back, and I knew that, and got rid of his spirit link on my Suchi.
Or you could have fired off your Triskelion arms, bounced your Triskelion, and then played it again, and you got 3 more damage.
I could have fired off the tokens and got the trike back, but you know what? I wanted that. It's my last sage, Chad, and I'm like, I want this sage to live.
Yeah, because you know that's your drawing engine advantage against him.
Right.
Oh, he's got recall here.
Brass man. I can sack the Fellwar. I can draw like 3 more cards from that.
Right. So he plays recall. Looks like he's recalling for 5 mana, so he's going to recall for 2 cards.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to get here? 2 Sage of Latinam? Oh, Divine Offering and a Sage?
Basically, he's getting back a dance and a divine.
A dance?
So any creature, it can have any creature he wants and another artifact removed.
So why didn't he get his sages back to keep up with your drawing?
I still got the trike out. Maybe he sees that my trikes. I haven't used my trike yet. I took the damage. So.
Okay, so he plays Dance of Mini again. And who's he gonna copy here?
He copies a trike and kills the sage again for the 4th time.
Oh wow! What a turn of events! This is like a crazy game, man.
We're just fighting over sages, and he's triskellying my sages to death.
Oh, it's such a chess battle. Oh my goodness!
And I haven't touched him in like 8 turns. He's still at 10.
Yeah, he's been sitting at 10 forever.
And so the Diamond Valley has got me now up to 26 life from eating those sages.
See, that's what I'm telling you. A player with Diamond Valley versus a player without, the player with Diamond Valley wins. So my money's on you right now, Tim.
It's not looking good for me, man. He just recalled for 2. I'm not running recall, and recall was one of those cards I was like, I had it last month. I took it out this month. I kind of back and forth. It's a great card. It just depends on when you draw it, and it gave him a big advantage there. So
wow, man, this is such an interesting match.
You think so, huh?
Well, I mean, if you're an old school magic nerd and you're digging these, Four Horsemen expansion set cards. I mean, look at this. We got Brass Man all over the place. We got Sage of Latman. We got Dance of Mini. We got Triskelion and Tetravis and Fellwar Stones and Diamond Valley, Suchi, Spirit Links. Like this is killer.
Yeah, so I finally did shoot his Tetravis tokens with my trike.
Oh yeah, it took him down.
And
okay.
So he's down to just the 1/1 Spirit Link Tetravis. He no longer has tokens. And yeah, all we have done like the past 6 turns, maybe more, is really just a battle over the Sage of Latinam. That's what it's been.
That needs to be the name of this episode: Battle of the Sage of Latinam.
He who holds the candlestick of finish the sentence. Candelabra. The candelabra of Tanos.
Yes. The sage who holds the candelabra of Tanos wins.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dance of Mini is actually pretty impactful here because he's played it twice. So he's gotten 2 Triskelions off that Dance of Mini. And that is a 1-of in his deck. I did double check. He's got 3 sages in that 1 Dance of Mini.
And he got it for 2 blue mana. It's sick.
It is sick.
It's perfect as a 1-of in a Triskelion deck.
Hey, but aren't you supposed to pay an upkeep on Dance of Mini?
He tapped the 2 Fellwar.
Oh, okay. Well, he drew and then he tapped it. I was just like wondering.
I gave it to him. I think he might have forgot and said he meant to. So I was like, all right, if you meant to, it's fine. I'll let him do it.
That's very generous of you, Tim. In a
Okay,
tournament match, even top 8.
Yeah, it's cool. He got the strip mine, and I think he took. I'm just deciding, do I want to gain any life from like Suchi or something?
Now would probably be the time to do it, right?
Right.
But you decide not to. Look at that! Wow.
I've held on and been disciplined to keep that Suchi in play because, like, look, he has. I have a 1. I don't want him to attack me with a big trike or something.
Right. But he'll gain life if you block. It's holding him back. But really, long term, it's the alpha strike potential because he's in range. He's only at 10, and he doesn't have a life gain mechanism. Oh, he gets his sage back in. Look at that.
All right, advantage.
Now, yes.
Advantage Brandon Eccles. It's like a Wimbledon match here.
So now all 4 of your sages are gone, and he gets one, and you next turn get a Triskelion to kill it.
Yeah, it's like a tennis match where you're at deuce, deuce. Advantage Tim. Advantage Brandon. Now it's advantage Brandon again.
Oh my God, what a game.
We're caught in deuce,
Well, your decks are so similar. That's what's going on.
So I finally played the workshop. They knew I was holding the workshop, the boomerang, and I have a juxtapose in hand because I flashed my hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you flashed it way back when, and you've been holding it the whole time. So you're just waiting for an advantageous situation.
Oh, there he goes. He used his divine offering to kill the trike, which I played out to kill his sage. You notice a recurring theme: Triskelion to kill sage over and over again.
Over and over. But doesn't he gain? Didn't he gain 6 life for that? Where's the life gain?
No, I killed my own trike I shot my trike with the last counter to kill the trike, thus countering his spell because he didn't have a target anymore.
So yeah, maybe he should have waited on that.
Perhaps. I'm not sure why he wanted it off the board. Time will tell, maybe. Let's see. So that's a good card. That's my one.
You got Jaloom Tome.
Yeah, that's a 1/0.
Now you got your Jaloom Tome, so now you got your drawing. So even though your sages, all 4 are dead, now you got your Jaloom Tome to start your drawing. You can start chunking, pitching lands, and getting cards.
You know, he immediately has his Divine Offering. I think that's his second or third one. But like I said, having 3 main deck is a huge advantage for him.
There we go. He's got to get rid of that tome. Oh my God.
I don't know if you remember an old card from Torment called Compulsion, the blue enchantment.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it was just draw a card, discard a card for 2 mana,
right.
Blue and 1.
Yeah.
I used to love that card. I played it in like Psychotog, like Blue Green Madness, which are now pre-modern decks. But
right.
The Jalem Tome is like the compulsion of Old School and of Four Horsemen. I just absolutely love the card.
Yeah, it's so good. And most people only play 1, but like you can make an argument to run 2 or 3 for sure.
Sure, for sure. Especially if you're like combo oriented or need certain. Okay, so he finally, look, the dancing scimitar.
There it is. This whole game, he hasn't seen that scimitar, nor has he, apparently hasn't seen any red burn.
Maybe he played 1 pyrotechnics to kill a sage. I'm not sure. One of those 4 sages. Can't remember.
It's just crazy because he's got those. Well, I guess it's only 5 red cards, right? 4 chains and a pyrotechnics, but still, we haven't seen that stuff being instrumental in these volleys here, back and forth.
We have it, and you notice the scimitar starts to get in there now. He's actually on the offensive. Where I don't have anything going. I have 3 creatures, 1 spirit link. I've got a 2/2 and a 1/3, and here he is. He's taken to the skies. He's got his flyer.
Yeah,
and you know he's on a 24 turn clock.
24 turn clock. If he had those Tetravite flyers, it'd be maybe a little sooner. But look at this. Now you get your Tetravis 4/4 flyer to counter.
But check this out. He mana drains.
Oh.
And watch this, and then I'm like, I think I have an answer for the mana drain.
You mana drain the mana drain?
Oh, you know what? I have a mana drain, Chad, but I'm disciplined and I do not mana drain back here.
Well, you're spoiling it for the viewers, man.
I show my hand in a second, and I'll explain why I did not counter his counter for that 4/4 flyer. Because he has a 1/5 flyer, and so my tokens and my 4/4. They're not going to get past that scimitar.
Right.
So my plan is, or do you know? I won't tell you. I'll tell you later what my plan was.
No, tell your plan. That's good for the viewers.
I'm hoping to get into some like Tanos' Coffin and eventually I may have the Archaeologist in my hand right now. And I want to go Archaeologist Coffin and be able to protect the Archaeologist or the Coffin with the mana drain. And that's kind of like my end game strat. It's like, if I could get the Tanos' Coffin active, I could really pull this game out. Or if I can protect this Archaeologist with a counter spell, I could really get back a lot of cards. Like I have Triskelions, and there's the Coffin number 1 I was talking about. But I've got Trikes, I've got Tetravus. If I can recur those artifacts with an Archaeologist, I'll get tons of card advantage. The thing is, I need to get that 1 counter off of his Triskelion before I can play an Archaeologist. So, okay, there's the Coffin. He attacks me for 1. Take the damage down to 22. Coffin. Not sure what I'm going to target here. Oh, I target the brass man that I gave him early in the game. So an interesting interaction there. If you use a Tanos' Coffin on a creature that you juxtapose swap, the creature is returned when you untap the coffin. It returns to its owner's control, not the controller, but the owner's control. And so, since I'm the owner of that brass man, he controlled it, but I'm the owner. The brass man comes back into play under my control when I untap the coffin. So it's a pretty cool interaction. Okay, now I've just drawn into both of my coffins here. Listen to the legend. He doesn't have an. I think he's played. I've waited until he's played it. I've baited out almost all of his divine offerings, or at least two. And I know this, so I think I'm holding the mana drain. Just thinking, if I can keep these coffins in play, I'm probably going to take control of this game.
Man, that's quite a turn, right? That Tanos coffin, and now you got the double coffin. Wow, that's
Chad. I was explaining while you were gone that I took back my brass man that I had given him from. Remember that early Juxtapose trade, brass man for Sage.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you aware of what coffin says that it returns to its owner's control when you untap the coffin? The creature comes back to play.
The owner's control.
Yeah, the owner, not the. It doesn't go back into play under the person who controlled it. It says it returns the creature to play to its owner's control tapped.
So, what does that do in this situation?
Well, it gave me back a brass man, and he lost the brass man.
Mm.
I mean, it's still a creature that he could block with, and
because you had juxtaposed with it, and now it comes back.
Right, it came back into play under my control when I took it with the coffin.
That is so tricky, man.
Yeah, same with boomerangs. So that's why I'm running coffins and boomerangs with Juxtapose. They all would go back to my hand or to my play.
Man, that is such a tricky maneuver.
It is tricky, but it comes down to knowing the laws, knowing the law, and abiding by the law so that it works in your favor.
Right. And that's why you're running double coffin, because it's got that built into your combo.
Yes, sir. All right, so wow, where's this board gone?
Yeah.
Look, he's down to 6.
He's getting like eviscerated.
What is that? You said, Chad. You just said, what does that do taking that brass man? Well, look.
Wow. Yeah, it removed his defense.
Removed his defense. I think we traded the factory for one of his, a couple of his 1/1s or something there, and then the 2 brassmen got through, knocked him to 6.
Right.
The scimitar has been removed with one of my coffins permanently at the moment.
Mm.
So I'm back on the aggressive with those 2 coffins. Oh, he's got a second scimitar there.
Well, that's pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he can block the 2 brass man. It doesn't kill the brass man, but so he's building his defense back.
Yeah, he's got me like he can't kill it, but I can't really hurt him. So I untap the coffin. At this point, I want to say I have the archaeologist and a mana drain in my hand. I'm trying to figure out how I can get around his trike. You know, the archaeologist is a 1 toughness creature. I don't know if you pulled that up on the gatherer, but
Yeah.
you might look at it.
Yeah, it's a 1/1.
Because I'm trying to plot out how I can get this archaeologist down and save his life if he has a trike and like a couple of chain lightnings.
Right.
Per se.
That's right.
Anyhow, out comes another Suchi while I'm thinking about how to get this archaeologist down and save his life. So yeah, I can't really. I've just got a spirit link Suchi, a couple brass men. I'm not really gonna be able to do much damage. Let's see what Brandon draws. He's still holding 4 cards. I'm holding 3. At this point in the game, Chad, I'm thinking like if I'm Brandon, I'm not sure how he's going to win this game against
Yeah,
Kevin
it's looking rough, right?
And I'm at 23 life.
Right.
So
He's down to 6.
He's already played a Tetravets. He's already played like 2 or 3 of his strikes.
Yeah, it's a losing battle for him at this point.
I think so. He's already played 2 of his Divine Offerings, so he can't kill both those coffins. I don't think.
Has he used all 3 of his Sage of Latnans?
And he may have used 3 of those as well. We'd have to look through his graveyard or have to go back through the
That's
video.
what he's doing right now. He just looked through it, but we couldn't see it.
Right. But yeah, at this point, I'm wondering how he's going to win. He probably knows that. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can put the stake through the heart.
Right.
But here's what my thought process was. If I can play an archaeologist, he can shoot it with his trike, correct?
Right.
Right? And I think, okay, well, I can just use the coffin to save the archaeologist. But
that's right.
And here's the thing. I know that if he's smart, I'll play the archaeologist. He won't use the trike. He'll pass his turn and he'll try to chain lightning it first, right? And then if I try to coffin it, he'll then use the trike. So I realize I'm going to need double coffin to save that archaeologist against him. Because I don't think he's played any chain lightnings yet.
No, he hasn't played any the whole game. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking this through. You're thinking this through.
Yeah, that's what the thought here. I got to get this archaeologist to win the game.
Wow. Because you can get all your shit back from your graveyard.
Like, okay, so at this point, he has a 3rd Divine Offering in his deck. I could Alpha Strike, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if he has the Divine Offering, and I try to remove the Dancing Scimitar, he can just Divine Offering it and gain 4 life, and I can't kill him. But I do Alpha Strike.
Huh.
And I know he has 1 more Divine Offering in his deck. That's what I just looked at on my phone. The beauty of internet old school magic world. Are posted online, right?
Right.
Thanks to Chadster.
Yeah. I always put the decks on the website and on the Discord and on the Facebook, and people reference them all the time, and it makes a big difference.
It does. And, it actually slows the gameplay down for me because I find myself opening up the phone, looking at my opponent's deck picture at least once or twice during the match. But it is a nice tool. So thank you for that.
What do you think about the whole showing of deck photos before, when we go to top 8?
It's funny you asked me that because my opponent, Brandon Eccles, here during this. Oh, there's my hand. Sorry. Did you see that flash?
Mana Drain, Archaeologist, Juxtapose.
I'm still holding the Juxtapose. Like I said, I knew the Juxtapose would only work against Sage because it's not good against artifact creatures that can become 1/1s. But and he shows his hand too, and you see I'm turning around backwards.
Oh yeah.
He has 4 lands and a chain lightning.
Oh no, he's got a bunch of lands in his hand.
And the chain lightning, which I assumed he had.
Man, yeah, he's just got a bunch of lands. He needs Jaloom Tome so bad.
He does, yeah. Bless him. He's not drawing well late in the game. That's for sure. If he would have held that recall a couple more turns, imagine how juicy that recall could have been.
Yeah, and he's not running Jaloom Tome either.
He is running one on his photo, actually.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so he is running one.
We showed our hands. I've got Mana Drain, Archaeologist, Juxtapose. As you can see, I'm trying to figure out, should I go all in and Alpha Strike him and try to kill him? I don't know if I can. If he has the Divine Offering, he doesn't have it. I didn't peek. You could see in the photo, I was clearly in the video, I'm turned around with my back away from the camera, just so you know. I couldn't tell what Brandon was, but I trusted that he wasn't. He said he promised he wouldn't peek, so.
This is such a chess match, man.
Really is. I mean, this was a super fun game. It really was. Not because I knew I was winning at this point, but it was just fun because the way it had really gone back and forth and the way we were having to think things through.
Yeah, I remember there was in I think it was tournament 13, there was a match where guys were playing Gasman Ogres and Chain Lightnings and things, and it was like back and forth, and you know, a guy pulls ahead, he gets a Gasman Ogre in play, the other guy chain lightnings the other player, the Gasman Ogre comes to the other guy's side, and it was just back and forth and back and forth. And it was such like classic old school Magic, you know, Arabian Nights beatdown kind of thing, and it was so much fun. A lot like this, like total tennis match.
Right. So I did hit him down last turn to like 4 or 5. Then he opts to use that chain lightning on one of the brass men. Remember how I said, when you said, what does that brass man do? Well, as you can see, it's making a difference right now. I'm putting pressure on him.
Amazing.
I've got him down to 2 life. I'm almost ready to just alpha strike and say, just abandon the whole archaeologist plan and say, I don't need this guy. Like, I can win with these 2 Suchis and this brass man, even though it's spirit linked.
Yeah. It's crazy that the brass man is making a fundamental difference in this game.
It is. If I've drawn 3, or I've drawn like 3 of them this game, and he didn't, you know, he doesn't have an early blocker in his deck other than a Sage. So he does play a Tetrabus. So that was pretty big. I don't think I can kill him with that Tetrabus out. And you know, the Tetrabus and the Trike are not really something I want to even put into the coffin. That's kind of scary, right?
That's right. You do not want to put those guys, because if you ever have to untap, I mean, it's a last resort. It's a last resort.
Yeah, so he's got me thinking, like, do I want to try to do that and alpha strike him? Like, because I'm thinking, like, right, if you're in this situation, can you not just kill your opponent right here? Right? But he still has a Divine Offering in his deck, and I know this. So it's kind of risky if I try to put some of these. Okay, say I put the Dancing Scimitar. He can still block with Tetrabus and the 2/2 Trike on my brass man and my 4/4. The other Suchi could get through, right? The other Suchi could get through, but now I'm thinking, oh, I could kill him, but he has a Spirit Link.
Oh.
In response, I save it from the Spirit Link and save my.
You put him in the coffin. That's why coffin's so good.
It still buys him a turn, though. Even though he's not linked, I can't attack. It comes back tapped, right? Yeah.
But it's only 1 turn. He's at 2.
Right, buys him a turn. So let's see what he can do. Gonna untap my brass man. I untapped the other coffin. At this point, I guess I'm thinking archaeologist time. I've got the archaeologist. I'm tired of messing around trying to attack and kill him. I'm just gonna get this dude out. Because he's at 2, Chad, and I'm like, if I can just get 1 Trike back to my hand from my graveyard, I can shoot him. He's at 2.
Yeah, and you know what's depressing for Brandon is this is like 30 turns where he's not, 30, 40 turns where he literally hasn't done a single point of damage to you.
I mean, he did hit me with a Dancing Scimitar.
Like he did 2 points with the Dancing Scimitar.
But you're right, it's a negligible amount of damage. It was almost nothing.
Yeah. Man, and this match is coming up on an hour and a half, pretty quick.
Well, he did have to AFK like 3 times, but yeah, it's a brutal battle. So notice he draws his tome, and it's like the turn before he's about to die. It's sad. That's sad for him because he had all those lands.
He had all those lands. If he had drawn that earlier, oh my gosh, he could have cycled everything away.
It could have made a big difference.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so frustrating for Brandon.
I still can't help but wonder though if he held that recall for like a few more turns.
Yeah, well he got back the Dance a Mini and he got back a Divine Offering.
He did, but I think that Sage pressured him, right? So he's like, "Ooh, he's got a Sage. I got to kill another Sage."
Right. So, he could have ditched those 3 or 4 lands and gotten back 3 or 4 cards with that recall.
Yeah. He could have got back like 3 Divine Offerings.
Right.
All those coffins.
That's right. Man.
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020,
that's
right?
That's one of the cards I was really worried about. Like, how am I going to beat that recall late game when he's running 3 Divine Offerings?
Yeah.
So okay, at this point, he's tomed, he's discarded, and now I think he's thinking long and hard because he's starting to think, I don't think I can live another turn. He's trying to figure out how he's going to stop me from killing him.
Right.
So he's taking his time this turn.
Yeah, he's just hanging on by a thread.
He knows if I get that archaeologist and I get the trike, he's done.
Yeah. It's such a brutal killer combo.
The Archaeologist was an addition this month because I thought late game it's gonna make the difference.
Oh yeah, and you were right about that, man. In some of the practice games that we did, that thing it just spells your doom, right on the table.
He's cool. He's super card advantage, and even though he's fragile, if you play him out correct, like smartly and wisely, and you wait till late when they played out a bunch of the removal, he can be super stellar.
Or like you were saying, you've got 2 coffins. Wait till you get your 2 coffins, and then you can protect them, no problem.
Or something like a Void Fate or a Boomerang or whatever. Just there's a lot of ways. Or even something like a Wailuli Wolf can help increase his chances of living.
Right.
Or a Pendlehaven, that works with him too. Oh, I just went ahead and got the rocket launcher. You know I did that? Are you with me, Chad?
Because you can just blow it up and kill him.
Yeah, and I know that he can't remove soul that. He has remove souls.
Yeah, you can just pop it and do the damage and it's game over.
Yeah, he's at 2. So when he saw the rocket launcher, what he tried to do was he tried to shoot my Archaeologist. During my upkeep, he tried to shoot the Archaeologist. In response, I coffined it, but I showed him that I also activated the Archaeologist in response to his shooting.
Oh.
He didn't know that I could do all that.
Wow. Man. So the rocket launcher for the win.
Yeah, and I'm just explaining that I can do all these things while his trike, 1 damage trike is on the stack, and I don't have to let the damage resolve.
Yeah, you can do all these mechanics in response.
I get the trike, I put the dude in the coffin, I get the rocket launcher and put my dude in the coffin, and he's like, well, crap. I shot my last strike down and counter off. So.
Yeah, so the writing's on the wall for Brandon here.
Yeah, I've got the workshop to play for 4, and I've got 2 more, and I'm trying to explain. I shoot you for 2, and he scoops at this point. So that was game 1.
Wow. What
Brutal.
A match.
Rocket launcher, yeah.
Dude, death by rocket launcher. When's the last time you guys saw that? Think about it. For our viewers, when's the last time you saw rocket launcher seal the deal on an old school magic match? Only in Four Horsemen do these kind of things happen. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that was a pretty long video. We're almost at an hour and 20 minutes. I think what we should do, Tim, is we should wrap this one up, and we can come back for the next match and do a second part 2 on this game.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it sounds good to me, Chad.
Okay. Well, so let's take a look back at the graphics here real quick. If we look at the brackets, so you guys are in your first match here. What a battle. Tim, you took it down. Match number 1. Gonna come back for the second match. We'll be back in the next episode for game number 2. Jeskai Robots. Brandon Eccles versus Tim Kincaid's Juxtapose 2.0. If you'd like to play some Magic the Gathering 4 Horsemen style, check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com and join us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/4horsemenmtg. Tim, thanks for joining me tonight. Everyone, we'll be back for game number 2 of this Tournament 19 quarterfinals match, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Chad. Have a good night. See you next time.
All right. Good night, everyone.